My girlfriend said I'm temporary and her friends are permanent. So I started treating our relationship the same way. Now she finally gets it. I'm writing this at 2 a.m. because I can't sleep and honestly, I need perspective on what I'm doing. My girlfriend Rena, 24 female, and I, 26 male, have been together for 2 years, living together for the past 6 months. She works in event coordination and social media management. I'm a UX designer working mostly remote. On paper, we should be perfect together. The problem, her friend group. Rena has this tight-knit crew from college called The Orbit, Nova, Mateo, Quinn, and Sara. They're inseparable. Like I'm talking group chat that gets 200+ messages a day, standing plans every Friday and Saturday, random Tuesday hangouts that turn into all-nighters. When someone in The Orbit has a bad day, everyone drops everything. When someone wants to try a new restaurant, it becomes a group expedition. I tried to be understanding. I really did. I have my own friends, Jackson, Dana, Leo, but we're more the catch-up once-a-month types. I figured Rena just had a different friendship style, but it started getting to me. Date nights would get rescheduled because Quinn had a work crisis. Weekend trips we'd planned would get pushed back because Nova wanted the group to go camping instead. I'd come home excited to tell Rena about my day, and she'd be FaceTiming with The Orbit, holding up a 1-minute finger that turned into an hour. The worst was my birthday last year. We'd planned a quiet dinner, just us. I'd made reservations at this place we had been wanting to try for months. Day of, Mateo texted the group about some emergency. His girlfriend at the time had dumped him. The Orbit immediately planned a support night at Nova's place. Rena looked at me with apologetic eyes. "Can we do your birthday tomorrow? He really needs us right now." I said sure, but we never rescheduled. She completely forgot about it. When I brought it up a week later, instead of making it up to me, or even just apologizing, she got defensive. "You're really going to make me feel guilty for being there for a friend in crisis. That's really selfish, Kai." I dropped it, but I didn't forget. How could I, when things like that kept happening over and over again? 3 months ago, I finally brought it up. Not one incident in particular, but everything in general. I wasn't angry, I just said, "Hey, I feel like I'm always waiting for time with you. I'm not saying you should stop hanging out with your friends or anything, but can we prioritize us a bit more?" Her response changed everything. "I'm not going to be one of those girls who abandons her friends for a guy, Kai. Romantic relationships come and go. They're permanent. They were my family before you showed up, and they'll still be here when. If things don't work out with us." The pause before "if" said everything. Like she was already planning for our ending. I just sat there, didn't argue, just absorbed it. That night I made a decision. If she's treating me like a temporary placeholder while her friends are permanent fixtures, fine. I'll show her what that actually looks like. I started saying yes to everything my friends suggested, and I mean everything. Gaming nights with Leo, I'm there. Jackson wants to try that new hiking trail, count me in. Dana's hosting poker, I'll bring the beer. I stopped rescheduling with my friends when Rena suddenly had free time. Started being busy when she wanted to watch our shows or do literally anything together. The shift was gradual but deliberate. When she'd text asking when I'd be home, I started replying hours later. Sorry, was with the guys, phone was on silent. When she'd suggest doing something spontaneous, I'd say, "Can't, already made plans." I even started my own group chat with my friends, sent memes, made plans, kept conversation flowing. Not to make her jealous, but because I realized I'd been neglecting these people who'd never made me feel optional. And honestly, I do enjoy spending time with them. At first, she loved it. Told The Orbit that I'd finally learned to have a life outside the relationship. Said she was proud I wasn't being clingy anymore. I overheard her on a call with Nova once. "Honestly, it's such a relief. Now I don't feel guilty when we have plans. He's finally getting it." The irony wasn't lost on me. But here's the thing, I'm not doing this to punish her. I'm genuinely just applying her philosophy. Friendships are permanent, right? Relationships are temporary. So I'm investing my time where she said it matters most. Except now, 3 months in, things are shifting. Last week, Rena suggested we have a date night at home, cook together, watch a movie, just us time. I told her I'd already promised Leo I'd help him move some furniture. She got quiet, then said, "Okay, that's fine." Yesterday she came home with ingredients for my favorite meal, this specific pasta dish I'd mentioned once, months ago. She remembered. I was heading out to meet Jackson and Dana for drinks. She asked, "You're going out again?" I just smiled and said, "Yeah, we rarely all get together, you know how it is." She stood there in the kitchen, holding a bag of groceries, and I watched something break in her expression. But I still left. "Last night, and this is what's keeping me up," she cried. Really cried, not just tearing up. We were sitting on the couch, this physical gap between us that wasn't there before. She asked me why I'm never home anymore, why we don't do anything together. Her voice cracked when she said, "I feel like I'm living with a roommate who tolerates me." I wasn't mean about it, I just said, "I still love you." "But you said relationships are temporary and friendships are permanent." "I'm just taking your words and investing my time accordingly. No pressure, no demands, exactly what you wanted." She got this look on her face. Not anger, something else. Recognition, maybe. Then she said, quietly, almost to herself, "I don't want you to respect me that way. I want to be a priority." And I just sat there thinking, now you understand. Reddit, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Am I being petty? Am I teaching her a lesson, or am I just done? I genuinely enjoy hanging with my friends, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that wants her to feel what I felt. Is there any coming back from this? Edit. Holy shit, this blew up while I was sleeping. I'm trying to read all your comments. Some of you are calling me petty, some are calling it justice. I hear both sides. To clarify, since people are asking, the Orbit isn't a bad group of people. They're actually nice when I'm around them. It's just that Rena becomes a different person when she's with them, like I'm an accessory, not her partner. Someone asked if I've actually talked to her. Yes, multiple times before that relationship comes and goes conversation. Each time she'd say I was being insecure or didn't understand female friendships. Update 1, posted 3 weeks later, so a lot has happened since my original post. Thank you all for the comments, even the harsh ones. I needed to hear different perspectives. After reading your responses, I realized something. I wasn't trying to teach Rena a lesson. I was protecting myself by checking out emotionally while still physically being there. That's not fair to either of us. I decided I needed to have one real conversation, put everything on the table. If she couldn't meet me halfway, I'd know the relationship had run its course. But before I could initiate that conversation, something unexpected happened. Rena started actively trying, and I mean really trying. She canceled plans with the Orbit multiple times, started cooking dinners and asking about my day. Would text me during work asking when I'd be home, suggested we go on a weekend trip, just the two of us. But not like what I'd expected. I didn't feel relieved. I just felt numb. My friend Dana, who's a therapist, by the way, told me something that hit hard. You're feeling that way because you don't trust that this is real. And honestly, you probably shouldn't. This isn't her changing because she understands what she did wrong. This is her panicking because you stopped chasing. She was right. One night, Rena asked me directly, "Do you still love me?" I answered honestly, "I do, but I don't trust that you want the same kind of relationship I want." She broke down. Said she realized how much she'd taken me for granted, promised things would be different. But here's what really made me see clearly. I ran into an old friend at a coffee shop the other day. Her name is June. We knew each other from college, lost touch when we both got into serious relationships. We ended up talking for 3 hours. It was easy, natural, no drama, no feeling like I was competing for attention. Just two people enjoying a conversation. We talked about everything, work, life, how relationships change you. She told me about her ex who'd made her feel invisible for years. I told her about Rena and the Orbit. "Can I be honest?" June said, stirring her second latte. "That temporary comment would have ended it for me right there. The moment someone tells you they're planning for your exit while you're still together, that's not love, that's hedging bets." She didn't mean it that way, I found myself defending, then stopped. Actually, maybe she did. My ex used to do something similar, June continued. He'd make plans with everyone else first, then fit me in the gaps, like I was schedule filler. I kept thinking if I was just more understanding, more flexible, he'd eventually choose me first. She looked at me. He never did, because people don't suddenly start prioritizing you. Either you matter to them or you don't. Those words hit different than any Reddit comment had. And before any of you start asking, nothing happened. We literally just talked and exchanged numbers to maybe grab coffee again. But driving home, I realized something. I'd felt more seen in 3 hours with June than I'd felt in 3 months with Rena. When I got home, Rena asked where I'd been. I told her truthfully, ran into an old friend, we caught up. Her face changed immediately. A female friend. Yeah, June from college. You were with another woman for 3 hours and didn't think to text me. I just looked at her. You've spent entire weekends with the Orbit and never thought to check in. What's the difference? She went quiet. Then, the difference is I'm scared. I'm scared you're forgetting about me, that you're doing this to hurt me back. I sat down next to her. I'm not trying to hurt you, but I'm not trying to save this anymore either. I'm just tired, Rena. So what does that mean? It means I think I need some space, real space. I'm going to stay with Leo for a while. And that's where I am now, typing this from Leo's couch while he and Jackson set up a gaming session in the next room. They've been incredible, not pushing me to talk but just being there. Rena has been texting, a lot. At first it was panic, please don't leave me, we can fix this. I'll do better. Now it's angry, you're punishing me. You never really loved me. I can't believe you're giving up so easily. The thing is, I'm not giving up easily. I gave up slowly, way too slowly, over 2 years of feeling like an option. June and I have been texting. Nothing inappropriate, just easy conversation. She's going through a similar situation with her ex, being taken for granted, trying to decide if staying is brave or just stupid. I don't know where this goes. I don't know if Rena and I can come back from this. But for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. Edit. To everyone saying I should just break up already, you're probably right. But after 2 years, I feel like I owe it to both of us to be sure. Moving out was the first step to clarity. Update 2, posted 6 weeks later. Alright Reddit, I'm back with what I think might be the final update. Grab your popcorn because this got messy. First, the Rena situation came to a head in the most dramatic way possible. About 2 weeks after moving out, I went back to the apartment to grab more of my stuff. I'd texted Rena the day before to let her know I was coming, wanted to avoid an awkward run-in. I got there, and the entire Orbit was in my living room, like an intervention. Nova, Mateo, Quinn, and Sarah all sitting there looking serious. Rena had tears streaming down her face. They'd clearly planned this. Mateo started, "Dude, we need to talk about how you're treating Rena." I just stood there with my empty boxes. "You want to do this now? Here," Quinn jumped in. "She's devastated. We've never seen her like this. You're destroying her over what? Because you got jealous of her friends." I felt something snap. Not in an angry way, but just, I was done pretending. Jealous? No. Tired? Yes. I spent 2 years being told I was temporary, that you guys were permanent, that she couldn't be one of those girls who abandons her friends for a guy. I accepted it. But the second I started treating the relationship like she did, like it was optional, temporary, suddenly I'm the villain. Sarah spoke up softer. "She made a mistake, but she's trying to fix it." "Why are you being so cold?" "I'm being cold." I laughed, couldn't help it. "Do you know how many date nights got canceled because one of you had plans? How many times I spent holidays with you guys instead of my family because Rena couldn't imagine missing Orbit time? I'm not being cold. I'm just not warming myself up to be ignored anymore." That's when Rena spoke. "I told them you were talking to June. That you're basically already in another relationship while stringing me along." The room went quiet. They all looked at me like I'd kicked a puppy. Here's where it got real. I pulled out my phone, opened my messages with June, and handed it to Nova. "Read them, all of them. We talk about our relationships, about work, about books we're reading. There's nothing in there I wouldn't show Rena." Nova scrolled for a minute, then handed the phone back, looked at Rena. "He's right, these are just friend conversations." Rena's face changed. "You're defending him," Nova shook her head. "I'm not defending anyone, but we asked him here to confront him about cheating and he's not." That's when Mateo said something that made everyone uncomfortable. "Look man, I get it. I'm getting married in 3 months. My fiancé made it clear early on she comes first, then family, then friends. That's just how adult relationships work. Maybe you guys just aren't compatible. Quinn shot him a look. What's that supposed to mean? It means we're 26, not 21. Things change. I love you guys, but I can't do every Friday night anymore. I have a life to build. The room got tense. Rena was crying harder now, but not about me anymore, about what Mateo just said. I grabbed my boxes. I'm not doing this. Rena, I care about you, but you orchestrated this dramatic confrontation instead of just talking to me like a partner. That tells me everything I need to know. As I was leaving, Sara followed me to the door. She looked back to her friends hesitantly before telling me this. For what it's worth, I think we all enabled this. We probably should have told Rena to prioritize you more. I looked at her for a moment. I said, I appreciate that, but it shouldn't have taken me leaving for anyone to realize that. Then I just turned and walked out. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, Mateo's wedding planning has taken him basically off the grid from orbit activities. Nova accepted a job in Portland and moved last week. Quinn and Sara apparently started dating each other and want space from the group dynamic. The orbit is basically falling apart. Rena has been texting me about how the group is dissolving, how she's losing everyone at once, how she doesn't understand how everything fell apart so fast. I haven't responded much, just, groups change, people grow up, I'm sorry you're hurting. As for June and me, we've been spending a lot of time together. She broke up with her ex 2 weeks ago. Well, officially. They've been on again, off again for some time. We're taking things slow, but there's something there, something easy and natural and not exhausting. Last night, June asked me, are you scared of this, of starting something new? I thought about it. Only if love has to be a competition. With you, I just feel like it's just us. No one's keeping score, she smiled. That's what it's supposed to feel like. I don't know if Rena and I will ever have closure. She's still trying to save something that I let go of months ago. The sad part is, I think she loved me. She just loved me the way she knew how, which was always making me wait, always making me prove I'd stay anyway. I'm not angry anymore. Just relieved to be building something that feels like peace instead of a puzzle I could never solve. Edit. Some of you are saying I moved on too fast with June. Fair. But I'd been emotionally moved on for months before I physically left. June is just the first person who made me realize what a healthy dynamic feels like. Edit 2. Yes, the orbit falling apart feels a bit like poetic justice, but honestly, it was going to happen anyway. People couple up, move for jobs, start families. The problem was Rena built her entire identity around a friend group that was always going to evolve. Final update, posted 3 months later, final update, and then I'm closing this chapter for good. It's been a strange few months. Rena and I had one last conversation about 2 weeks ago. She asked to meet for coffee, said she had things she needed to say. I almost didn't go, but I figured after 2 years I owed us both some kind of real ending. She looked different, tired. She told me the orbit is officially done. Mateo got married and is basically living in married people world now. Nova is thriving in Portland, and Quinn and Sara are in their own couple bubble. Rena tried to organize reunion hangouts, but everyone kept saying maybe next time or let's do it next month. She was alone with her group chat full of old memories and no new plans. I get it now, she said. What you felt. Being the person who tries to make plans that everyone else is too busy for. I didn't gloat, just nodded. It sucks, doesn't it? I told myself I was maintaining my identity outside the relationship, that I wasn't one of those girls who disappears into her boyfriend, but I went too far the other way. I made you feel like you didn't matter. You did, I agreed, but I also let it happen for too long. I should have left earlier instead of just checking out while still being there. She wiped her eyes. Are you happy with her, with June? I thought about how to answer that honestly. I'm happy with how I feel when I'm with her, like I'm enough exactly as I am, not competing, not waiting, just present. Rena nodded slowly. I wish I'd given you that. Me too. We sat in silence for a while. Then she asked, if I'd realized all this earlier, could we have fixed it? That's the question I've been asking myself. Maybe, but I think the problem was deeper than just time management. You saw relationships as either losing yourself or maintaining complete independence. You didn't see how to be both yourself and part of us. She smiled sadly. And you're learning that with her. Yeah, she has her friends, her life. So do I. But when we're together, we're actually together. It's not revolutionary, it's just balance. I'm happy for you, Rena said, and I think she meant it. And I'm sorry for all of it. I know I'm sorry too, for letting resentment build instead of leaving when I realized we wanted different things. We hugged goodbye. It felt final but not bitter, just over. As for June and me, we're doing really well. About a month ago, she asked me something that made me realize how much I've changed. Do you ever get scared I'm going to treat you like she did? I answered honestly. Sometimes. But then you do something like cancel your plans because you just want to hang out with me, and I remember what it feels like to be chosen. Not chased after, just chosen. She squeezed my hand. You make it sound so profound. I just like being with you. That's the profound part. The thing is, I learned something from all this. Love shouldn't be a waiting game. It shouldn't be about proving your worth or competing for attention. When it's right, it's just two people who want to build something together, who see each other as the priority without losing themselves. Rena taught me what I don't want. June is teaching me what I do. You can't convince someone to prioritize you. They either do or they don't. And staying with someone who doesn't, hoping they'll eventually realize your worth, that's not love. That's just loneliness with company. I'm at peace now. Not because Rena finally understood, though that closure helped. I'm at peace because I'm with someone who doesn't make me feel crazy for wanting to feel important. Someone who shows up not because I'm demanding it, but because she genuinely wants to. That's it. That's the update. I'm logging out of this throwaway account and moving forward. To everyone who commented, especially those who called me out on my own bullshit, thank you. You helped me see this clearly. And to those of you in similar situations, you deserve to be someone's first choice, not their backup plan when everyone else is busy. Don't settle for being loved conditionally or conveniently. Choose yourself first. The right person will choose you too. Edit. To anyone deeming me asking how I knew June was different, I didn't have some magical revelation. I just paid attention to how I felt. With Rena, I was always anxious, always waiting, always wondering when the other shoe would drop. With June, I just breathe. That's how I knew.